Now it's time for a special edition of News from the Left. Joining me now to react is the managing editor of the Media Research Center TV, Brittany Hughes. Brittany, good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
All right, first up, we showed you this gem from Joy Behar yesterday on The View. Take a listen.
If I go on the subway, if I go in a bus, if I go into the theater, if I go into, where else would I go?
A crowded spot.
A crowded place, I would wear a mask. And I might do that indefinitely.
Well, someone snapped this picture of Joy last night at a public restaurant, unmasked, of course. I happen to think that this is an appropriate mask for Joy. Can we put this up? There we go. I wouldn't have a problem if she wore that. What do you think?
Well, it's kind of disappointing, actually, that she was seen maskless, considering the fact that the internet seemed to react with glee when she said she was going to keep wearing a mask and cover up her face for the indefinite future. But she was, in fact, caught at a New York City restaurant maskless. Not only that, she got up and walked out of the restaurant maskless, just spreading her Rona all over the place as she got up and left the restaurant. And it would be kind of funny if it wasn't yet another example of the hypocrisy of the left on face masks. Behar is just the latest in a long list of celebrities, politicians, talk show hosts, people that have advocated for masks, even forcing masks on other people, only to get caught not wearing them themselves. You don't have to look any further than the most recent Super Bowl to see celebrities that have gone on tirades on Twitter about how people need to be wearing face masks, and yet there they were, perfectly fine, enjoying the Super Bowl without a mask. And I think the most disturbing thing is that we still have countless children across this country being forced to wear face masks in school, while left-wing hypocrites like Joy Behar prance around fancy-free because it's rules for me and not for thee.
You know, I was prepared to actually give her a little bit of a break because, you know, Dr. Fauci tells us the virus is very polite. If you're sitting down at a restaurant, you're safe. So you can take the mask off because the virus, if you're sitting, you're okay. But then you told me that she actually got up and, you know, and she put other people at risk because she got up and she didn't put the mask on. So, but Joy Behar, you know, if she wore the Hannibal Lecter thing, I think that a lot of people would be very happy about that indefinitely. All right, next up, lawyers for Prince Harry says that he doesn't feel safe bringing his children back to the UK because of a lack of police protection for his family. Now, the prince is saying this because taxpayer-funded police protection is no longer afforded to Harry and Meghan after their choice to resign as working royals in 2020. You know, this is a guy, I don't know how much money they make, but they make a ton of money. They're exploiting the fact that they are former royals. And you mean to tell me this guy can't afford a couple of bodyguards to go with him for a few days back to London? What do you think?
Oh, it's just the worst. I mean, I also hear that the seat on his diamond toilet isn't heated. So it's just absolutely terrible. I feel so bad for him. Look, this is a guy that basically disowned his family, walked out, moved to the U.S. He and his wife have spent absolutely no short amount of time just completely trashing the royal family. Of course, we fought a war so that I don't really have to care about all of this. But if he's going to be here blathering about how the royal family is so terrible, well, now he wants to go back to visit and apparently thinks that it's the taxpayers' job in the UK to foot the bill for the private security that he can no longer afford. Now, what's really interesting is that crime in the UK has continued to set some unprecedented numbers in certain parts of London. As a matter of fact, last year alone saw the highest teenage homicide death toll in memory. So people who live in his own nation's capital, of course, can't afford private security just to be able to go out and about safely in their own city. But apparently he thinks that he's entitled to it, basically to go on vacation, which, of course, is just incredibly arrogant. It's the arrogance of the elite.
But he doesn't have a problem palling around with people in Hollywood and going to California and jet setting all over the U.S. He's obviously very recognizable, and there are plenty of, unfortunately, very dangerous cities in the United States as well. I can't stand the whining out of the two of them. That's all that they do. Okay, here's Nancy Pelosi today at the Munich Security Conference. Take a listen.
My purpose was children. You've heard me say, you got to take a punch for the children, throw a punch for the children.
You know, this is what I think of Nancy Pelosi saying that she's for the children. I mean, really, this is a woman who is who is as pro-choice as you possibly can, is pro-abortion, and she forces children to wear masks in school for 8 hours every day, and has supported that policy and continues to support that policy. What do you think?
Well, I think that she probably shouldn't be throwing punches anytime soon. She might break a hip. But of course, this isn't about the children. This has never been about the children. This is a woman that supports the wholesale slaughter of preborn children in the United States to the tune of 1 million a year. And that's just in this country alone. This is a woman whose love and compassion and care for the children in cages at the border went out the window the moment that Joe Biden was elected president. So, this is, again, never been about the children. That's an absolute farce. She's a career politician. She has no plans on giving up that seat, giving up that power. And as typical as we have seen with the left when it comes to abortion or mask mandates, children are a convenient card to play when it's politically expedient, and they get shuffled right back into the deck when they're not.
Absolutely. All right. Brittany Hughes, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.